Welcome, listeners. You are joining Country Dwellers. I am Runa.
And I am MareLin. Hello, and welcome everyone to episode 10.
Ow!
Season 3, episode 10. How impressive we are. Let's pat ourselves on the back.
Yeah, we won't talk about our 18-month gap, but...
Oh, and we won't talk about how I'm releasing some of these things late. But anyway...
I mean, we are imperfect witches, and we are okay with that.
Yes, definitely, 100%. 100. I mean, it's a good thing though that I'm going through elementary and middle school all over again. So hey, there's that. I'm getting a second education at almost 50. So happy about that.
I am so grateful every day that I am not doing that. I would have no patience. You do what you have to do.
Yes.
I mean, I would make it work. I know I would, but I am so grateful. The kids are doing their college education on their own. I don't have to worry about homework, just the fucking tuition bill, which hurts big time.
I'm sure. But you know what? I think it would hurt a little bit more if the kids were disrespecting that education, right? And not taking it seriously. I mean, your kids are taking it pretty seriously, I think. So
they're getting there. Yeah. Yeah. My turtle is, he's definitely taking it seriously.
I mean, 60-inch biceps.
No. I don't think I said 60.
No, you didn't. I just keep increasing the size every time I talk about it.
Okay, all right. I want to say to everyone, I know that probably when they hear this, hopefully they will have voted already, but if you haven't voted and you're hearing this and you are able to vote early, which like 85% of the states have opened up early voting, I want to say get out there and vote, get it done, go to the drop your ballot in the drop-off box if you are, like we are here in the Pacific Northwest, Washington, Oregon, mail voting is pretty much,
it's the thing.
But if you have to go to the polls now, because I have this very, very strong feeling that weather is going to be a factor on November 3rd. So get it done. This is a transformative year for me, and I was born in the middle of a blizzard, and I feel like that kind of difficult, horrible weather pattern is getting ready to become a bit of an anniversary on my birthday too, which is also November 3rd. So go get it done. Don't wait until election day proper unless you absolutely have to, and then make a plan. Make a plan, because I got this gut feeling. Like I don't like to say predictions or anything like this, but when I get such a strong divine download, as my sister MareLin says, you gotta listen. You have to listen. So
100% agree with that. You have to listen. Yeah, I mean, like last year we talked about it, and I was like, yeah, I think this year's going to be a really bad winter. Last year was blizzard. I mean, for Pete's sakes, you know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking that this year's going to be full of wind, rain, sleet, and snow, girl.
Up my way, we have a frost warning for this week.
I can't believe that.
So, yes, I was chatting with the Evergrove, and she's like, I have plastic for you if you want. Save my crops, because we don't have the infrastructure put in place like we normally would, because we're new property or what have you. And oh my God, there's just so much to do. And so I'm just going to have to take my lumps and hope that the weather gods are kind and they at least spare my kitchen garden, because I got to have my greens.
Yeah.
A Swiss chard, my kale, and my arugula.
I mean, it's not like you have to worry about the trees and stuff. Those things have been there for a minute. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
And the other
I'm
stuff,
not worried.
some of the other stuff you were wanting to plant over again anyway.
Oh
So
yeah.
if
Yeah.
weather
No,
gets rid of it, it's just helping you.
well, I am worried about my neighbor's row of trees though, because they're right over the cottage.
Mm,
And I have been kind of like, um, you know, putting good soil up against those trees along my fence line, because where the former owners had livestock, they had really just destroyed the land and the soil there because they didn't rotate the animals. And
mm.
so I have been implementing and complementing that soil and adding material, because I don't want those trees to fall over on my cottage.
Oh yeah, no shit.
Especially because we haven't even started the renovation yet. So,
No shit, right? For real. That would suck.
oh, you had a pretty special weekend this weekend. Do you want to
I
talk?
did. Oh my gosh. I had my group of dedicants turn into initiates this year. So they went from a foundational aspect
Huzzah,
into healing
huzzah.
aspect. Oh my God, it was amazing. And the beautiful goddess Hecate was joining us, and um, they all signed their oath. Well, they signed their oath of secrecy, and they got their certificate. And it was, and I got them these amazing leather binders from, I ordered them off Amazon, and they have like the, on the spine, they have the ribs, you know, the little circle ribs that look like the old books, you know, the binder.
Mm-hmm.
And, but they're 3-ring binders, which is great especially if you're like me, because I like my shit organized. And so I love my all my journals and stuff, but sometimes when they're not organized, it drives me nuts. You know what I'm saying? So I got that for them, and a part of their final this year was to write their own ritual. And so each of them wrote their own little Samhain ritual. And so I printed that out on some really cool picture cardstock stuff, paper, and put it in there for them so they could all practice and do their own ritual on Samhain. So,
Did you do this in person or was it virtual?
oh, I did it in person. We went over, yeah, we went over to my friend, well, one of my students' homes, and she was wonderful enough to host, because having everybody here in the bathroom and all that, it wasn't going to be doable. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
no,
Just a
no, no.
lot of chances, you know.
Right.
So we masked up and went over there and did the whole ceremony. I couldn't have been in a more beautiful spot. I mean, other than my own backyard, but it was just an amazing spot. And
Did you have
it,
good weather?
it was, you know what, when I first got there, it was pouring. So we were going to do it out in the backyard, right around the fire pit. It was pouring out there. So she has this magical pagoda deck part on her front porch. It's this big circle like pagoda. It's covered. And in the middle was this table with one of the gas fires on it, you know. And
Nice.
I'm telling you, it couldn't have been more perfect. And as we were doing the ceremony, it was not raining, but there's part of the ritual where we call in the wind and stuff, and you can hear the wind start blowing through. You know, it was so magical. And I'm just uber proud of these girls. And I am really, really excited to see where this next year goes for them, because this next year is healing. So it's all about shadow. It's all
Wow.
about working through self, you know?
So tell me about this vow of secrecy. Because
Oh,
listeners are going, secrecy, what is she?
well, it's a vow of secrecy that they take for the coven that we have. Like everybody sees me publicly on the Moon Tribe, which is great. That's where I do all of the rituals and everything, so everybody can join in. But then there's the back area, And that's the side of the dark moon over here, and that's the coven over here. So that's slowly building as well, because I only take a certain amount of people, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that is a place where magic is made, and there's just, it's a different form of connection, not better, not worse. It's just a different form of connection.
Well, it
And
also
so,
for those who want to follow the path and not be out of the broom closet as well.
exactly, exactly. It's completely safe, completely private, you know, and so the oath of secrecy is about that. Like, you don't say, you don't talk about what goes on in the coven, you know? I mean,
Mhm.
there's no fight club. You know what I'm saying? First rule fight club, you know, there's no fight club.
Right.
Same,
Yeah.
same. And you make a vow to the goddess Hecate that you listen to her teachings and abide by her teachings, but it's not like you share them with anyone outside of our coven. So it was extremely magical, and I love it, and I love doing what I'm doing. And then let's see, in March I'm starting another group, so I'm really happy right now. I've got another one going, and then in March I'm starting another one by near Ostara. So I'm super stoked. Pardon me. Sorry. And while I was
Do you have
doing,
any openings for the March start, or do
oh
you have?
yeah, yes, I do. I am taking 10 students for the March start, and it's about half full right now. So if people are interested, all they have to do is visit my website, theoldtreeshop.com, and it's under events. And you can just go in there and sign on. There's payment options for people that can't do the whole lump sum at one time. Um, you know, because it's not, there has to be a trade-off, right? Of energy, finances, things like that, because it is my time. But in the interim, also, I don't want to charge people an arm and a leg for something that a long time ago was not taught for money. It was taught for service, and it was taught
Mhm.
for sisterhood, and it was taught as lineage and things like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that I have seen. I've done my research on these mystery schools and stuff, and I'm not going to down any one of them, because thank goodness they're putting it out there for people to learn the positive aspect of all of this, you know? Um,
Yes.
but some of them are quite
Yeah.
spendy. And I vowed that I'm not going to do that. I'm
Mhm.
not going to do that, you know? So, and even on my reduced rate, I offer payment plans. So I guess I get the, especially today, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people don't have that change to throw down. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Oh yeah, I know what
So,
you're saying.
yeah. So yes, so Ostara, next group. Very excited. 5 more spots left. Visit my website. Read about it. Join. I'm horrible at selling myself. Um, and while I was doing that, I'm wondering, did you do it on Friday night, or did you do it Saturday?
The crone crowning ceremony ritual is a 3-day event.
Yeah.
So I started Friday
Okay.
and culminated Sunday evening with the crowning ceremony.
That's what I was wondering.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's
as I was doing the initiation, you were beginning your crowning. So
correct.
let's hear about that, babe.
Well, it's 3 days because you're going through a transformation, and you pause and you reflect on each uh, phase of your life,
Mm-hmm.
maiden, mother, crone. And for me, it also was um, wild woman and warrior, because I spent a good chunk of my time. I became a mother later in life, and
Mhm.
a good chunk of my time as the wild woman and then the warrior. And so there's meditations and recordings, and I decided Friday, or actually Thursday evening, that I was like, okay, this is solitary, but it's pretty big deal. I think I'm going to go ahead and share it virtually with my, friends and family and followers on Instagram. And so that's what I did. It was kind of last minute. I didn't announce it. I just posted a video and said, here, I'm doing this. If you want to join in, you can join in. And everyone was really super supportive. At the end of the crowning ceremony, the Viking, who was the only, physical witness to it, said he felt really bad that I was alone, but I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel like I was alone. Everyone had been really supportive throughout the process. And it's really interesting because I kind of had to write my own ritual and ceremony. You were talking about how, as kind of a culminating project, your students had to write their own Samhain ritual.
Mhm.
Basically had to pull from pieces and parts of things that I could discover and then just figure out on my own. And I posed some questions to myself for my path forward of how, I was going to live this next chapter of my life. And so it was really, it was hard at points because I still had to live life. I had to work in between morning and noon and evening meditations and rituals and things like that. I expended a lot of magical energy. And so yesterday and today, I have a magical hangover and kind of like I'm drying out, as they say. My altar is quiet. I've got a cloth over it right now. And, I won't pick anything back up probably until Samhain. But at least, no readings, nothing for, 3 days to kind of build back up. But I realized that, the whole process, yesterday morning, I just felt super calm, way more resolute in my path forward. And I don't know, there's just kind of this calming zen that I have about everything right now. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. I've survived this far. I've been worthy of this life thus far. And I'm going to, be grateful for everything that I get from this point forward.
Well, good. That's very good. That is a wonderful mentality.
I could feel, it was funny when I put the veil on, the crown on at the end of the ceremony. It was weird. I could feel like, all of the crone energy, that web of, the mother spider is a symbol for crone, and I wore a spider brooch that my mother-in-law had crafted and that she wore in her crone days. I don't know if she did a ceremony or not, but I could feel kind of that ancestral energy and power. It was, and instead of being overwhelming or scary or anything like that, it was just super calming. It was really cool.
Good. It's nice to see you be able to be in that headspace. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. It feels good too.
Good. That's good. Yeah, I hear you. It's very important to realize, look, we can do our best every day, fledging forward, but shit's going to happen.
Yeah.
And how are we going to respond or react to that happening? You know what I'm saying? Are we going to allow the not, I don't want to say woe always me, but are we going to allow the toxicity of everything around us to attach itself to that, oh my God, I spilled my coffee, it's going to be a horrible fucking day today syndrome? You know what I'm saying? Or are we going to say, oh, well, fuck, I spilled my coffee. I guess I need to go get another goddamn cup because I'm not awake. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Or, you have to stop and clean that up.
Exactly.
That process of cleaning it up, you are prevented from doing something else that maybe would have provided some negativity to your day, or, there's a lot of people really do not like the phrase things happen for a reason, but in honesty, they do. And
Yes.
most times it's hard to see that until you're on the other side of it. And I really feel like being present in that moment, and mindfulness was a big part of the ceremony, or the messages that I got for my ritual, is being mindful of that. This is happening right now because there's something else that I need to learn. I need to shift my focus, my attention, what have you. And I wish I could explain it more. I'm still so fresh off of it.
Well, I mean, the thing is too, people don't have to wait until they're in their crone phase to change their mentality and ways of thinking. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is choosing to make that change in how you perceive life. You know what I mean? And the things that happen in it. And people can do that at any time, you know.
You need to forgive yourself. You need to
totally.
need
100%.
to forgive yourself and learn and move forward. And everything, all the questions that I posed to myself, all of my meditations, everything really focused on heal thyself, witch. And I have been working really hard on that. I said in one of the videos that I posted in the midst of it that I, understood that I have been operating for years doing shadow work. And
many of us have. Yes.
And you have to come out of that at some point. And it just so coincided with this ritual for me. It really did.
Well, it also coincides with the transformational 2020 that we're having and all of the retrogrades. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely,
this is a huge year of change in itself. But then to acknowledge, it's different when you're traveling in that shadow journey, different. But then when you come to a point and you acknowledge, oh my God, my whole life has been a shadow journey. My whole life has been me figuring out what my past life was about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, people are like, oh, past life, but it's true. We come to this part of wherever we are in life still attached to some cords from our past life. You know what I'm saying? That's how we have that karmic stuff, And so if we do not choose to acknowledge that this life is huge shadow work in general, we're fucking ourselves over. You know what I mean? I mean, we're not facing the truth. And some people are not ready to face that truth, which I get, I understand, but there are young souls and there are old souls. And the older souls realize, hey, you know what? Not only is there a point where I acknowledge my shadow life, but there's also a point where I come to another crossroads in my life, which is the transformation. When I come to that new crossroads in my life, that I can say, look at all this shadow work that I did. Look at where I am now. Okay, I'm going to leave this suitcase right here. This is my choice now. I'm leaving this suitcase right here because I did all that. I've been there, done that. Now, this new journey that I'm going on, where is it going to take me?
Right.
So it allows people to really have that different perception,
Yes.
that different mindscape
Mm-hmm.
on this new path, you know,
Yeah.
which is exactly what I was wishing for you this whole time when you were going through it, you know. I mean, like, I know it was dark. I know it was dark, but I also
Mm-hmm.
knew that you would start seeing things differently. And I'm so happy that you allowed yourself to let that suitcase stay there and
Mm-hmm.
allow yourself to go down this path of which you've never been on
Yeah.
freely,
Yeah.
you know? Now it's going to be
Yeah.
interesting to see where this journey takes you.
I'm very excited. I'm very,
Good.
very excited. And the fact that I have kind of crossed this bridge, gone through the 7 magical gates, and you know, I'm wearing my crone crown very resolutely. That word keeps coming back to me, but in time for Samhain is really has me a little giddy, I have to say.
Good.
Yeah, we're preparing for Samhain.
Are you going to open the gates to the kids?
No. No, because
Good. Fuck them.
I am going to be communing with spirits. We're going to do probably a candle ceremony for the ancestors and
Nice.
do some seed scattering charms for the ads.
Good. Very
And
good.
we're going to have a big bonfire and dance and hoot and holler, and I'm really excited. I haven't had a Samhain celebration like that since I was in my wild woman days. So
Well, that's definitely a good way to start off this new journey, for sure.
I think so. And the Vikings very excited for it too. I'm really hoping we're not going to have snow as they're calling.
You know what? Even if you do, you can always just do something inside that brand new house you got, you know,
Yeah,
inside
well, we
that
had
new
to do
space.
the croning, the crone
Crowning.
ceremony indoors because it was just bucketing rain and gross. It was
Well, I mean, you did it in front of the fireplace. I thought it was quite pretty.
yeah, no, that's you know, that's the great thing is we've got the fireplace. So
Mm-hmm. I think, you know, of course, like I said before, we're taking the kids trick-or-treating. Actually, Aaron's going to take them trick-or-treating as I stay home and toss
mhm.
candy at children that come to my door. Um, like, go. No, take your germs, split. So we're going to do that, of course. And then, you know, it's our anniversary. So we're hoping to be able to spend some time together. But then in the witching hour of midnight-ish to 3, I plan to get up, come down into my office, light some candles, and just connect with my ancestors, connect with my spirits, you know, that are coming through the veil. I call them my spirits, but that's because they're coming through my backyard, you know. Connect with my spirits that are coming through the veil and journal and write and celebrate the new year in more of a, not only just a being at that moment, but more of a acknowledging of the whole aspects that are
Yes.
around me. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like taking it all in, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because I'm Superwoman, I can do all of those things and still function the next day. I'm gonna be exhausted, but whatever. Life goes on, right? So yeah, so that is what I am doing for Samhain this year. And I'm really, and actually what, it was really funny because I was like, okay, all my students wrote their Samhain stuff and I'm like, okay, are they expecting me to do a Samhain thing, you know? So I might pop on super early in the day and do like a toast and like, hey, let's bring it in, you know, or ring it in. But one of them asked me, they're like, hey, since we have our rituals in here, can we not do a Samhain thing that night? And I'm like, duh, that's what your rituals are for. You're doing your Samhain thing. You know what I'm saying? This is you wrote these
Yeah.
things. And then I think I might do something with Jen on the 1st. So, you know, I mean, for fuck's sake, Samhain goes on for 3 days. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be the eve of All Hallows, you know?
No.
In fact, to be quite honest with you, yes, I feel it then. I mean, feeling it several months prior, but I feel it then. But really, I feel it on sundown of, because that's when I close it, sundown of the 2nd, right? Because you know, there's always those spirits that are still lingering. So you got to
Yes.
give them time, you know? And so that's when I really, really feel it. And I think it's because they're all coming back to the portal, you know? When the veil lifts, it's not like, you know, that Mervin's commercial where they're open, 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 and they all rush
Right.
forward. I mean, they're coming as they want to. But when that veil's going down, that you'll see like a stream just coming through. And I think to me, that's when I really, really feel it. So maybe on that day before I close the veil, I'll just sit in my backyard and collect messages as they go by. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So,
Yeah, no, that's part, you know, I plan to on, you know, the witch's eve before Halloween. I'm going to make sure that I leave out gifts for the spirits, and especially since we're on new land, I need to acknowledge the spirits of place. And so we plan to do that as well. And I am, for the first time in my 54 years, I am excited about all of the messages that I will be getting. And
good.
I'm embracing the medium that I am, that I have resisted for so long.
Good.
And it's in that acceptance, I am so calm. It's sometimes I'm just like wanting to slap myself and say, why did I wait so long? But
Don't do that.
everything in its due time, right?
That's exactly it. Things happen when we're ready for them to happen, girl. So don't do that. All right, let's talk about, we're adding in a new little thing
Yes.
today. And let's talk about self-care today.
Yes. Yes, our witchy self-care, which was from our first 2 seasons, something that everybody really enjoyed. And so we're bringing it back, and I'm excited for that. And my input to that is that I want people to focus on one small thing that they can do to help yourself heal, whether it's big or small woes and wounds. And what I would say is to encourage everyone to journal and make it something regular. It is a very strong piece of magic that has always been a part of my life. I get up in the morning, and the first thing that I do is I journal. And my Viking, you know, says that I'm writing the crazy out, and it's true. Like, you put those words onto the page and it goes out to the universe, whether it's questions or trying to process things that happened, or wanting to manifest things. And you put that down on the page, and that is magic, witches. And it is so healing so often. And so I would highly encourage, you know, get a journal. It doesn't have to be anything fancy.
Nope.
Be a laptop.
Like a spiral notebook.
Right.
It can be your notes on your phone.
That's right. Anything that you want, and just put it out there. And it doesn't have to take long. You know, I go for like, you know, 2.5 pages. And when you're writing longhand, that's super fast. It's not, you know, it doesn't take anything to get.
Exactly.
And if you do that with regularity, come back and talk to me and tell me it hasn't been helpful, because I'll be saying, okay, have you really been doing it regularly?
Well, I mean, if, you know, just like everything else, it can become a habit if you make it a habit. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that I assigned for my students is journal entry. And I was like, it can be 2 sentences. I don't give a
Yeah.
shit. I just
Yeah.
want you to make that practice of picking up that journal and writing in it.
Yeah.
And I said, and you will see why as you're writing, because this
Yeah.
journey is going to be a transformational journey. And I want you to know where you were when you started, because you need to celebrate that too. You
I think a
know?
lot of people are resistant to that particular type of magic because they think they
Yes.
have to be a writer to do it. No,
No. Mm-mm.
absolutely not. I mean, there's points in my journal where I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? What the fuck am I doing?
But
And
still, you picked it up and you did it.
yes, yeah.
Exactly.
And
I
you
know
know
that.
what? Putting that down on the page, within the next 24 hours, I had an answer. I got that divine download. I knew exactly what my path forward was supposed to be.
Whenever I write, and I love writing in my journal, and I love writing longhand. And I'm more of I'm going to write it down on paper before I put it in the computer kind of girl, right? And so when I write, it's like the blood from inside of me is transferring into my hand and then transferring into my writing utensil. I'm very picky about what I write with, and it just goes in there, and it's almost like my part of my soul goes into whatever it is I'm writing. You know what I mean? Whether it be a grocery list or, a download or a spell or whatevs, So, I mean, and I think, like you said, people don't realize that you can just put that magic into it, I mean, all you have to do is just imagine, okay, even if I don't have anything in particular that I want to write about, picking up this journal, picking up my writing utensil, taking this moment to just sit by
Yes,
myself is a ritual in itself.
absolutely.
Light a candle, make yourself a hot cup of tea.
Yep.
You're taking that time already. So why not make it even more special by devoting things to yourself as you're going to sit down and pour some of that soul onto paper,
Yes. Like Agent Dale Cooper says, give yourself a little gift every
That's
day.
it. That's
And
it.
journaling is a super easy way to do that.
I completely agree with you 100%. I love my journal time. I really do. I finally, talking about writing, I finally ordered myself some of those shower markers. Yeah,
Way.
I finally did, girl. After I don't even know how many years. The other day I was
3.
in the shower washing my hair and I had another download. I'm like, God dang it. Thank you, but and so I got out of the shower and the first place I hit was Amazon. I fucking ordered me some of those shower markers, and that's never going to happen again now. So now my kids and my husband are going to get in there and see all these little scribble notes like a mad
I
scientist.
love it. I absolutely love it. That's so cool. Good
I'm
for
excited.
you.
I'm excited. I'm happy that I remembered to order them. My witchy self-care is what I'm going to be doing today, family time. And I highly recommend, and people are like, oh my God, we're spending family time every fucking day. No, we're not. No, we're not.
Just living.
We're spending, make that dinner, make that lunch, do that online homework, do that online work, blah, 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 blah. We're spending responsible time, but we're not spending, hey, let's pull out a board game. And like we did last night, and play a board game, make some popcorn, have some fun, busting each other's balls, you know what I mean? And just having a good time together. That's what I'm talking about, family time.
Yeah.
And so we did that last night. And then because my daughter's here, I don't get to see her that often, I declared a family ditch day today. And so we're all taking a day off of all of our responsibilities. And we're going to go out and maybe go pumpkin patching or something like that, just to spend time together. Just to spend time together without worrying about clock, without worrying about work, without worrying about those things. It's just just really appreciating the each other that we have, you
That's
know?
so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So I recommend that for witchy self-care.
I'm really glad that you have that. I'm really looking forward to the pandemic being over so my family can gather again
Oh,
safely.
trust, girl. I can't wait. I mean, I haven't seen my dad in over a year. That's not okay. It's not okay. Aaron's Babe's mom can't come, you know. It's not okay. So like that, no. But like I know when she came over, I'm like, let me take your temperature. Let me spray you down. Have you been having these symptoms? Blah, 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 blah. What are you wearing at work? You know what I'm saying? So it's like all of that. And, but she's like the only one, you know what I'm saying? And so it's been good. But yeah, it's tough not seeing that
Yeah.
family. It's tough, you
Yeah, but
know?
staying in the house with your family, you still need to take that time.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. For those that are only listening to the audio and didn't see the huge face that MareLin just made.
You do. You do. You need to take that family time where you're not talking about what's for dinner and you're not talking about, hey, how'd your work day go? No, no. Just need to
Right.
have fun,
Right.
you know, which I'm excited about today.
That's cool. That's cool.
Let's talk about our reduce, reuse, recycle. What do you have going on this week?
Well, I'm concentrating again on reducing my footprint of negativity, carbon footprint, if you want, what have you. And I'm calling this the H2O 500. And what it is focusing on washing laundry in cold water. And even if you only do 2 loads a week in cold water, you can save up to $500 in energy costs a year and up
Wow.
to 500 pounds of carbon per year.
Wow.
So, and the thing to know is that most modern detergents, they have enzymes in them that are designed to work better in cold water than if you wash in warm or hot. So using that detergent and washing in hot water, you're not doing yourself any favors. It's actually better to use it in cold water. And so even the, you know, more environmentally friendly, commercially available products, or if you do like I do and make your own, they work better in cold water. So
Very interesting. Very interesting.
down the road, I'll probably show folks how to make your own, but I have to get more jars. Short supply right now.
Well, heaven forbid you have such a harvest that you use all your jars. Oh,
I
God.
know, right? I know, right? Well, I gave up a lot of my jars when
I know. I
to go
know.
travel, and now I'm slowly building back up. But I know that you have lots of jars, and that's part of the focus for your.
Yes. I don't have canning jars or jarring jars like you do, but you know, I reuse the like the pickle jars and you know the jars and stuff like that. So um when my students and I first started this year in a day, one of our first assignments was to plant white sage, right?
Mm,
And so I planted a whole bunch of it and inside, of course, because it won't grow outside here. I mean, in the summertime it will, but then other than that, it dies. So I planted a whole bunch of it in some big pots, put them upstairs. Now they're getting to a point where they've plateaued in their growth a little bit because they're too crowded.
right.
So I have been using reusing the jars that we have left over as pots for my sage, so I can very carefully take them out of the big pot and then put them in their own individual space so they can grow. because you'll find that like, and sage can get very big, you know, so when it doesn't have that room to grow, it doesn't. But one of the really cool things that I've seen with it, I'll have a sage branch or vine, whatever you want to call it, work its way over to the other pot and connect with another sage vine or branch. It's like male female. They're hooking up. I'm like, yes, hook it up. So yeah, so I mean, it's very interesting to watch how they grow and communicate with one another. But yes, that's my reuse, is I'm just reusing jars and making them planter pots right now.
That's so cool.
Yeah, yeah. What is the brew today? The witch's brew.
Fire cider season, and I wanted to make this weeks ago, but there were focuses elsewhere. But I did finally make it. I made it yesterday, and it will sit in a dark cupboard for 4 weeks before I go to the next step. But it's so great for healing and for immunity and for kicking back any kind of malaise that you have. And it's horseradish, ginger root, onion, orange, lemon, garlic, hot peppers with the stems removed, and raw apple cider vinegar. And you put all of that in the jar, and you notice I don't have a lid on it.
Right.
So it's just got a cheesecloth and then the ring, because you want it to ferment, unlike the Four Thieves that we did last week, which is in white vinegar. This is raw apple cider vinegar in here, and this is actually apple cider vinegar that I made, which is pretty cool. I'm very excited about that. And it will sit in a dark, cool place for 4 weeks, and then you take it out. You put a dish towel or a cheesecloth in a strainer and over a pot.
Got it.
Liquid can go into the pot, and then let it sit there for like 30 minutes, and then take that dish towel, tea towel, cheesecloth, and squeeze it, because you want all that goodness to go in there. And then you add honey to taste.
Okay.
Now, what I need to say is right now, witches are going to have maybe some problems finding ginger root. There is a shortage of it, much like we're having problems with finding canned corn. So the supply chains expect so much to be, you know, okay, we produce this much, people will buy this much over the course of a year. Well, with the pandemic, people are stocking up. They're doing things like making their own fire cider for the first time ever. You know, this is something that I've done for years and years and years. But so if you can't find ginger root, you can use candied ginger. And I have done that actually a lot of times. It's sometimes really hard to find good ginger root in the grocery store here in the States. And so I use candied ginger, and then that cuts some of that like tang or fire to it, because some people don't like it that much. And then you don't have to use as much raw honey to sweeten it after it's brewed.
Gotcha.
Oh, there's turmeric in here as well. Forgot to mention that. So, and just ground turmeric. You don't have to go and find turmeric roots and grate that. Although I noticed there were turmeric roots in the store this weekend, and I haven't seen that in ages.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Can't find ginger. What?
Well, you know, it is pumpkin pie season too. So maybe people are picking up some ginger for that pumpkin pie as well. And maybe people are picking up that ginger because we talked about detox last week.
Yep. And there's ginger in Four Thieves as well.
There you go.
I had some preserved ginger, right? So, because you can preserve ginger. I'll get a good root and I'll grate it up and I'll keep it in vinegar in the fridge. And then I just, you know, use a slotted spoon and use it in my cooking or brews or whatever. And so anyhow, it takes 4 weeks, and then, you know, once you drain it, good 30 minutes, squeeze that out, and then add the honey to taste. And that jar of fire cider is good for up to a year. Just shake it before you use it. And I use it in cooking. I'll put it in my tea. I'll take a shot of it. Like if I feel that tickle in my throat, just suck it on down.
Interesting. I've never had it. I've never had fire cider. So
Since I mentioned the shortage of canned corn, right now all the farmers have sweet corn on their stands, and it's
yeah, I know,
canned corn. It is super easy. You don't have to cook it. You don't have to blanch it, anything. You just carve it off the corn, put it in a hot water pack, boil it in a pressure canner for 20 minutes, and you've got fresh canned corn. Super, super easy. So bonus witch's brew. You've never had fire cider?
No, I've never had fire cider. Mm-mm. I think I've maybe only had like elderberry syrup one time. So
is that elderberry syrup that I gave you too?
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Duh. Like I'd make it myself. In case people don't know, I go into my kitchen for a couple of things. My corkscrew and a wine glass and munchies. I love my cheese, my string cheese. So probably that too. Other than that, the hubs takes care of it. So the kitchen and I, we are acquaintances. Let's put it that way. We're building our friendly relationship, but you know, the kitchen draws me in with the wine bottles, and you know, whatevs. The more wine I drink, the better cook I am. Let's put it that way. I'm like that one female chef. What was her name? They're always talking like this.
Julia Child.
Yes, that's it.
Oh, I wanted to mention too that the turmeric in the fire cider, turmeric is a natural antigen.
Yes, I do know that.
It calms you down. It depresses you. And so a fire cider is really good if you're just stressed out.
Turmeric is also a wonderful anti-inflammatory. So
yes,
people with arthritis and things like that I know I do every time I make my smoothies and stuff, take turmeric to help with joint pain and inflammation and things like that. Okay, so let's take it on over to the card.
Okay.
It's funny how the universe works. Let's just put it that way. You know, earlier we were talking about not holding on to guilt and releasing things and stuff like that. Yep. Well, today I pulled the 5 of Cups in reverse. And the 5 of Cups in reverse is really a cool card, because when it's in reverse, it really focuses on the 2 cups that are left standing versus the 3 that have fallen when it's right side up, right?
Right.
So the 5 of Cups talks about the 2 cards that are standing when it's in reverse. And what those, the 2 cups that are standing, and what it talks about is not holding on to so many things, but it talks about if recently we have suffered like personal setbacks, disappointments, thinking of ourselves as failures. I mean, 2020 will do that to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've been there.
Life itself will, but 2020 is just adding a kicker to it, you know? One of the things that number one, acknowledge that. And number 2, you are not those things. But one of the things that I wanted to put out there is sometimes when we feel that way, we don't express those emotions because we feel as though expressing those emotions to anyone other than ourselves will make us seem weak and vulnerable. A lot of times as well, when we're feeling those emotions, we feel as though we are the only ones in the universe feeling them, and we are alone, and that we have to walk that path by ourselves. The
Yes.
Five of Cups in reverse is a reminder that, number one, you're not alone. A lot of people are feeling this. Number two, reach out and talk to somebody, and you will realize, oh my God, you're walking this path with me. You're on your own separate path, but we're kind of walking
Right.
together so we can sympathize with one another and empathize with one another. You know what I'm saying? So in this form of feeling this self-guilt, feeling this self-doubt, things like that, and not allowing yourself to release, you can actually connect with someone on that journey if you allow yourself to. So please be open to that, anyone that is feeling those feelings. Another thing that this talks about is the feeling of, you know, being ashamed of yourself. My husband's, oh, he must be making smoothie out there. It talks about remembering the past, right? It talks about all that shit that we did in the past, those mistakes, all that stuff. This is what the Five of Cups in general is about. You know, when it's in reverse like this, it is a huge, huge reminder. Okay, you're missing the fucking point. You're missing that there are two cups still standing. You're missing that they have not fallen. You're missing that there's still positivity. So even though you are, I say you as in we, are sometimes focusing on, oh my God, look at all these mistakes I made. I'm such a failure. I am all of these things, right? Five of Cups in reverse reminds us, not only is it time to let go, but it is time to start learning how to love ourselves, love our failures because they taught us a lesson, love our guilt because it reminds us that we're fucking human and we have sympathy and we have empathy. You know what I'm saying? Or we wouldn't be feeling that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there are, once again, it comes down to perception. But when the Five of Cups comes in reverse, it's that crossroads. And it's that crossroads that says you can either acknowledge and let go, or you can acknowledge and carry this guilt, this shame, this feeling of I'm not enough, I'm a failure, look at my past, I can't go forward. You see what I'm saying? So it really becomes up to you, and it becomes up to that perception. And when it's in reverse like this, it's a reminder you're missing the positivity from all this shit. You're missing it. And you need to open up your eyes and receive that healing and know that you are the only one that can bring that positivity into your life. You just have to choose it and see it. So that's my Five of Cups in reverse.
And if people are really feeling like they don't have anyone to talk to, I'm going to go right back to journaling.
Yes. Yeah.
Journal your therapist or your best friend if need be.
Or write a letter to the universe.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, but don't be afraid to reach out. Reaching out when you are, you know, in need, does not make anyone a failure, and it does not make anyone weak. In essence, it makes people extremely brave because they're allowing themselves to show their vulnerability, trusting in the human that they're speaking to or the universe that they're speaking to, that vulnerability won't be abused. You know what I'm saying? And being able to trust like that is extremely brave. And I feel that people don't realize that enough. So that's a huge message I want to put out there. You know, nobody's alone. Everybody travels a similar path. You just have to reach out and grab that hand next to us, you know? All right. So on that note, this is going with, you know, the self ritual that I'm doing for Samhain.
Okay.
All right. The talking to the spirits, the collecting all that energy, the getting everybody ready to do what we need to do. That. Okay.
I like it.
Full moon, bright and blue, hear my voice as I call to you. Behind the mist and through the clouds, your devoted follower calls aloud. On this circle, shine the light upon human and spirit as together we fight. Release the hounds and lift the veil. On this night and forward more, only goodness shall prevail. And so it is.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. Thank you for joining us. Go in peace, love, and light.
The circle is open but unbroken. Until we meet again, my darlings, merry part and blessed be.